here this morning at 5 o'clock in the dark, and someone behind us yelled out, "I'll give you $5,000 for your ticket." And I never even turned around. They couldn't give me $5 million for it.
I'm from Timbuktu in Mali, West Africa. It's a real place. I'm from there.
I know that the ancestors are singing and dancing and having orchestrated this miracle along with God and all of us who were there to vote.
I'm here going to D.C. for the big day, big event of the century.
I was, of course, one of the first ones to jump on board and to support President Obama with his economic stimulus package.
In America, as a minority, there is no substitute for hard work and education.
You know, you go to school, study, and maybe you too can become president, but in the back of your mind, you really didn't think so.
I always did believe that the country is ready for a black president, and color should not matter in this day and age.
His first book, Dreams of My Father, became a bestseller. And the book he's going to talk to us about today, no doubt, will also become a bestseller. Anthony held up this picture of Senator Obama. This is Time magazine saying, this fellow may be the next president of the United States. My comment is America should be so lucky.
What do you expect from Obama when he becomes president of the United States?
I think he would bring the country together. I think he'd end this era of divisiveness, and we'd be a better country.
To Senator Barack Obama, former Speaker, for your commitment to public discussion and addressing the critical issues of the day from the Urban Issues Forum.
I came out primarily to see and to witness the effect Barack Obama is having on national politics and to see if he has the right stuff to take it to the next level, because what he's confronted with is a very interesting challenge. He has what it takes to become the next president. Does he have the moxie, and will he have the endurance to, I guess, absorb all of the blows that come with being under that intense spotlight? I think he's an outstanding human being, and I wish the very best for him. And it's going to be very interesting to see if he runs in 2008 or if he takes his time and looks at 2012 as a more optimal time to become the president of the United States.
But let me tell you a little bit about the book and how I see it fitting with a broader message that I'm carrying with me as I travel across the country on behalf of a lot of Democratic candidates. A lot of folks have asked me, where did I get this title, The Audacity of Hope? And some have noticed that that phrase actually appears in the speech that I gave in Boston, where I talk about the audacity of hope. But I have to confess to everybody here today that I actually pilfered. I stole this line from my pastor, Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Jr. at Trinity United Church of Christ on the south side of Chicago. Although I attributed it to him. I wasn't plagiarizing. About 18 years ago, I was a young community organizer. I had moved from New York City to the south side of Chicago to work with a group of churches that were trying to deal with the devastation of steel plants that had closed all throughout that region. And tens of thousands of people had been laid off their jobs. The community had suffered severe unemployment. A lot of home foreclosures had occurred. The commercial strips had begun to deteriorate. Drugs, crime, substandard schools, all the problems we think about when we think about inner city America.
been playing sax?
I've been playing like a little bit over 24 years.
So what made you come down here in downtown Chicago and play?
Survival. I like to eat and I like to earn my own money the old-fashioned way, actually earn it.
So what do you do every day?
I play music to survive.
So is this your regular spot right here?
Yeah, it's like a job.
What street are we on?
We're on Michigan and 1 block off of Grand.
How long have you been a resident of this city?
Born and raised here. Cook County Hospital. Born and raised in Chicago.
Anything else you want to add for anybody that's aspiring to be a musician?
I say, man, never give up. I mean, you know, no matter how hard life seems to be, no matter how hard it is to make a living playing jazz, keep the art alive. Jazz must exist. I'm gonna play forever until the day I die.
And so I was working with these churches, and one of the churches that I was getting involved was Trinity. I wasn't yet a member of the church, but I figured that if I was going to get them involved in these community efforts, I should at least attend the service. So I went one Sunday, and the title of Reverend Wright's sermon was The Audacity of Hope. And his premise was simple. He drew on stories from Scripture, as well as current events, and he said, you know, sometimes it is easier for us to feel cynical. The easiest thing in the world, in fact, is to conclude that nothing can change. We look around and we see poverty, and we see famine, and we see unemployment, we see violence and strife and conflict, and it's so much more comfortable for us to pull back into ourselves and just to say, that's the way the world is, and we're just going to have to deal with it. And yet what he said was that what is truly audacious, what requires boldness and a willingness to risk, is to have hope, to believe in things not seen, to believe that there are better days ahead, to insist that the world as we find it is not the world as it has to be.
Any teachers in the house? Any organizers in the house? Just don't mention Palin's name. Don't mention McCain's name. Just say, yes, we can.
You were a major supporter of the Obama campaign. What made you decide to get involved?
Well, largely because when talking with the president, then the candidate, he made it clear that it was no small thing on his agenda to speak to the empowerment of African American voters. And he didn't feel like it was necessary to wear that on his sleeve, but just take care of the business at hand. And I think the record speaks for itself with respect to African American voters being all but electrified. And the whole point of that is it caused young and old alike to have a sense of purpose in participating in the political process. And that's what his candidacy meant. I sensed that early on, and that's why I joined forces with him from the outset to do what we could do to redeem the presidency. And that's essentially what he's about.
Yes, we can. We're going to elect Barack Obama, the next president of the United States of America. We believe in him. We stand for what we believe in. We won't be backed down by anybody. We're here to push forward. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. Yes, we can. Yes, we will.
Thomas. Close your eyes and picture to yourself what you want this country to look like. Picture what you want us to look like in the world's eyes, what you want it to look like in your neighbor's eyes, what you want it to look like in your eyes. A just country, a free country, a prosperous country. Now open your eyes and look around you at the people who are your neighbors. That's the picture of America that we are building. It starts in this parking lot, and it spreads through the streets, and it spreads through the city, and it goes through the state, and it crosses the border of Nevada, and like all great things, it sweeps from Los Angeles across this nation until we have our country back. Thank you very much, and onward to victory. God bless and good night.
I really wondered all along, would this country elect a black person as head of household, the household being the country? So to answer your question, no. No.
So what did you think when he was just speaking? It was just a big book promotion and that was it?
I guess basically, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I didn't tie it in with, oh, this man will become the president of the country. No. Mm-mm. Maybe some doors that weren't open before. Now I feel that they might be. But I hope, especially for our young black males, they will feel, as you say, empowered. They will learn from this or feel that from this as an example, they should try. They should definitely try. Not feel that, oh, I can't, so there's no reason in even finishing 8th grade. Because, see, they're not going to allow me. I hope we annihilate that they thing. And I hope this provides some credence for that. And Maya Angelou, she did a piece of her poetry, and it was like, it touched me. And it's like, okay, then this is what everybody is feeling, and now I'm no longer numb to it. Yeah, and still I rise. You know that one? Mm-hmm.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise.
Regardless of what has been done to hold me down, push me down, I kept getting up and getting up. And wow, look at me now today. You know, he's a symbol of blacks in the U.S. of A. And still I rise. It took the mixture within America to make this happen. Sure, blacks were 92% of us who voted for Obama. And the numbers vary as you'll read different reports, and on a daily basis for a while they'll change. I've heard as high as 95, but nonetheless, it took us members of all of the ethnic combinations or the singular groups to make this happen.
I was in Paris. I was doing a show with some Africans, and I thought there was a riot outside. I was in a hotel, and people were honking horns and screaming in all kinds of languages and stuff. And I said, what's the matter? I said, he just won the election. And it was a little delayed on television, but the city of Paris went nuts. And I collected 10 headlines in 10 different languages with Barack Obama in the front. From Italian to French to German to Lithuanian and Swiss. And they partied all night long. So it made me think that the rest of the world was just holding their breath unless we made the right decision or not. When we made the right decision, it was a global sigh of relief.
It's a huge statement to everybody, regardless of race or ethnicity, that here are wonderful people. Who cares what color they are? Here's a guy that, given what his personal family background was, could have turned out to be 180 degrees different than he was. He could have been a guy that, you know, would be, who knows, dealing drugs or in prison or something like that. You know, when you got a father that abandoned you, a mixed race marriage, a little bit of a hippie kind of mother. I mean, there'd be every reason to understand why he would have gone wrong. And yet, look what happened. I mean, through education, through having a great grandparent, I guess, who really raised him, who happened to be from a different race, And then having made the choice that he made, as a lawyer, you get out of Harvard Law School as president of Harvard Law Review, you could do any legal job imaginable. And quite honestly, being the first black president of Harvard Law Review, he could have been a Supreme Court clerk. He could have gone to any major law firm in the country, and he would have been like the greatest catch for that firm. And instead, he went back into the community to organize. He is just such a symbol. And as I said, his wife, the relationship that the two of them have, the obvious beauty of that family. You don't have to take any legal action. You don't have to change any laws or anything else. I think he has advanced race relations about as fast and as far as you could. There's no basis now to exclude somebody because of race. It's strictly on the quality of the human being.
He did the impossible by winning the primary. Let me tell you a strategy that I observed. I don't know if it was a conscious strategy on his part. What he did, he went to the small states and won the small states. And under the formula of the Democratic Party, there is proportional representation. So if he won the small state and lost by a narrow margin of the big states, when you add that big state number, 45, 48%, the 100% from the small state, his numbers swelled. So that was a strategy. I don't know if it was conscious or not, but I admired what he did there.